Okay, I think I have enough charge to do my video. Hi, my name is Therese, and I've been here on YouTube for, wow, how many years now? Probably since about 2006 or so, and I started making more videos a couple of years ago. This is just going to be a little introduction video. I'll stop here and take you on a tour of my house, and then when you come back I'll talk a little bit more about myself. So I'll start my little tour at my front door, which you've seen before. I'll give you some sense of where I live. I'm in the East Bay. If you could see beyond those houses, you would see the bay, and you would see San Francisco beyond that. You can even see BART, the train stations. You can probably hear it. It's just a few blocks down that way. Berkeley is to the south, and Richmond is to the north, and further north of that you have Marin, and then Sonoma and Napa a little bit over to the east. And this is my front yard, which you've seen a number of times. That's the old Volvo that we've had for many years. We've lived in this house for 16 years, and a lot of the work, the major work, has been in the gardens. We planted these 2 red maples out front shortly after we moved here. We planted the birch, my how would I call this? My familiar, I suppose, would be the birch tree in a sort of botanical sense. And I've worked on the easements to get them to be herbs and flowers, and I would, in the future, at some point, love to dig up the whole front yard and have that be all herb and flower gardens. This is a crabapple here, so. And you've seen my living room before. I'd love to knock out that wall and make the living room bigger and move my office, blah, blah, blah. But 2 bedrooms where the kids were and a bathroom's there. Door down to the basement where it's a full basement. I have my dark room down there and the washer and dryer. The cabinet where the TV is that I never put on unless I'm watching DVDs because we disconnected our cable, and I am not the least bit sad about that. It was part of my tea stuff collection. I commissioned a friend to make a painting for my kitchen. Some very old photographs when I was just really getting into photography of the kids that I did. That's a double exposure of one of the kids over the other. And my nice little kitchen. It would be nice to knock that out and have new cabinets and blah, 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 but that's okay. I love my stove, my ovens that don't work and are just for storage, dining room. That I would love to turn into a fermentation room. A long time ago, that was my office, and then it changed. There's boxes around because for a while I thought I was moving and I was packing up books, and now it doesn't look like I'm moving, and hopefully, crossing my fingers, because I would love to stay in this house. And it has to do with my personal situation and divorce. But anyway, this is a great little room, great view of the hills over there. You could see all the way down to the campus. I can see if I can point it out here. So there's a big tree here, and you can't really see it, but the Campanile, the big tower from UC Berkeley, is right there. There's my neighbor's garden. He has he's Italian, and his whole backyard is all garden. He's got chickens, and I get some of their eggs sometimes. This is kind of a mess. I need to redo it. And like I say, I'd love to set this up as a fermentation room. There's some of my crocks. And I sometimes hang my herbs up here to dry. And my office, which you've seen many times. I do my artwork partially here. I do a little bit of stuff on the computer. I do printing outside here. I've got my glass to put on for my contact prints for my cyanotypes. I need a bigger space, and I may have that at some point. Bulletin board with family and stuff. One of my first big Holga prints that I made of this wonderful statue in Alexandria at the cemetery that I always actually stay near. Painting that my daughter did in high school. I love it, based on a daydream she had. Photograph that my son made and printed and gave to me as a gift. Jackie's painting of Baba Yaga, some various photographs that I've made over the years. My prints of my grandmothers and me, and my daily draw. That's a mess in here. My cameras, my different cameras that I work with, all that. But I've got to get myself together and work on those. This is an old part of the house here, all that I've shown you so far. And then at some point, I guess in the 70s, they added this part on. I have my pantry in here. It's kind of a mess, so I'm not going to show you very closely. Bookshelves that we really need to redo. Old iMac down there. It would be nice to set that up as like a sitting area at some point just for reading, because the view, again, is really fabulous. Another painting that my daughter Laurel did in high school. That is a self-portrait of her. She was really good. She's a very talented young woman. Pinhole of mine. A couple of paintings I exchanged. A Flickr friend in France is an artist, and he based a couple of these on some photographs that I had made, so that's kind of cool. Bedroom with lots of nice light. My bears. My stacks of books and whatnot by the side. This is where I usually meditate in the morning, and I'm fortunately really getting the habit going again. I just bought these runes from Kristen at Dragonfly Mystic, some witches runes, and I'm just learning those. I use those, and also well, this is also a pinhole that I did a long time ago. Photograph of the kids and Matt from way long time ago. Photographs of the kids. Oh, I love this one of Laurel and Julian. I took that when we lived in Phoenix. Julian and Casper. Oh, and this is the artwork that I bought from the Target gallery. I love that. These are old. I think either my aunt painted these or she got them somewhere. They're kind of like Catholic goddess Asian something or others. And so I've taken those. They're painted on silk. And then of course you've seen the backyard many times. I won't do a big tour, but it's another beautiful day. Of course, my little deck that I sit on. And I want to dig up more of the yard for more plants, but everything is growing really well. You can see along here how vibrant everything is right now. Green. And it's all growing so well. I'm very curious about these. This is valerian that's blooming. Pointed out the St. John's wort. So yeah, you've seen all this before. The thing I did yesterday, what I did was I took out, not yesterday, 2 days ago, I took out the bottom branch of the lemon tree, so it is actually more like a tree and not just a bush. And we're getting a few apricots to ripen, even though the tree has gamosis, which our tree guy tells us that's common. And my mugwort is spreading nicely. I may put in my berries and my red currant in a couple of these empty spots here. And that's where my husband currently has his office if we go through with everything over the course of the next year and he gets his own place. I want to use that room for a studio if I can keep the house. So anyway, let's go back upstairs and I'll tell you a little bit more about me.